So anyway, yeah, Cordell, a mate of mine, a friend of mine, and from downstairs. He was living in the basement of Queensway House, apparently, about 2 years ago or something. Probably a couple of years ago now. But anyway, at Queensway House, yes. In the basement, we had the homeless shelter, you see, before the coronavirus. And about 50 empty flats, probably about 50 empty flats above their heads, which they could have homed the homeless in the empty flats. But the council will not give the homeless a permanent home. This is the problem. I can give the homeless a home forever if I had owned Queensway House. Queensway House, 50 Queensway House bill. If I owned Queensway House, or had control of Queensway House, first thing I would fucking do is get the bloody homeless out of the basement. They're now in hostels because of this coronavirus. They live in hostels. So I would have put all the homeless in Queensway House, in the basement, into the flats above me. Well, into the flats of Queensway House. We had about 50 empty flats at that time, a couple of years ago. We had about 50 empty flats, man. And the homeless living in the basement. We don't want to have the homeless around, do we really? You know, a bit smelly because they haven't got a home. I could have given them a home. Queensway House. You could have housed every single homeless person in Queensway House quite comfortably, actually. What I would have done is move people out. Yeah, sure. People want to leave Queensway House, let them move them out. Move out if you don't like Queensway House. Then move out. Fine. But then let the people who want to stay here, and there are a few people who want to stay here. There's Phil, a mate of mine. He's on the 5th. I've got Graham on the 7th. There's Nathan above me on the 11th or something. And none of us we don't want to fucking move, man. We don't want to fucking move. We don't want to go. We love it here in Queensway House. Graham spent about 40 fucking years in Queensway House. He owns his flat and he actually built a most beautiful bathroom. And his flat is really luxe because he bought it like. Graham, he's a security guard like. But you don't need fire wardens really for Queensway House. You don't need fire wardens. I'm going to say this again as well. You don't need fire wardens for Queensway House. At night time, you have a security guard. And I would give that job to Graham. He's 70, probably about 72 now, I think, Graham. You know, he lives in the block, you know. But Graham, I would give the job of security. Because he is a security guard, right? He does that for a living. But Graham is 70 years old. When you're 70 years old and you have lived somewhere for 30 or 40 years, you don't want to fucking move. I've lived here for 25 years and I don't want to fucking move. I've lived here quite happily for the last 25 years. Some of my mates have lived here for 30 or 40 years and we don't want to move. But what I'm saying is you could house every single homeless person in Hatfield, in Queensway House, in a single day. You could have done that in a single day. Especially during the coronavirus, which you didn't do, did you? Because you stuck them up to the Jim McDonald Centre, you twats. I've got about 60 empty flats in Queensway House. And you could have housed every single homeless person in Hatfield in Queensway House very easily. It would be very easy to repair the concrete floors in the hall. Concrete cancer. You say your name is B, but it's D, really, isn't it? That woman, don't lie to me. You lied to me from the day we met, B. Because your name is actually D, isn't it? You are not B, B. You are not B.